24, that you can go into the grave. You cannot go anytime. So mostly you would go 22 or 24, midnight. That's when you go there. So I'm going to speak this much when now the pastors come in, because all this point I still don't have the pastors, but I'm practicing all these things. So when the spiritual realm became active in me, I now have this. So I gained control. I gained manipulation. That mind of business is gone. Now all I need to do is just to have these spirits and start a church to using these dark spirits. So I spent over 3 years learning this before the pastors came in. I started now gathering pastors. Because they would come, they would be amazed by my knowledge, how I would explain spiritual things. Because now I'm not alone, I'm aided by the Spirit. I've got these spirits that are in me.
What are some things that you would explain that would surprise them?
You know, looking at you, just when I look at you, your whole life will be plain on me. I can see everything about you. I'll tell you who you are. I'll tell you what, that thing which is hidden in you, which you've never shared with anyone. I'll share it with you. I'll share it. This is you. This is you. Even your mind. What is in your mind? Because, you know, there's what we call telepathy. Okay. Now, this is under manipulation, because I would manipulate. I would send my thoughts into someone. Just mind control. This is exactly what these pastors are doing. They will control your mind. You think you are acting out of love or out of maybe wanting to serve God, but not knowing that this man is controlling you. You are under his witchcraft.
Oh my gosh.
Because in Luciferianism, the most higher thing that is there is demonology. You know these demons, these specific demons. So now when you know these demons, you know which one you can work with. I gathered the pastors with me. So these pastors now started learning this art from me. I started teaching them. When a pastor comes to me, the first thing that would do, would tell them to bring, there's a beer, a type of beer called Lord, L-O-R-D, Lord. Then a perfume again by that same name, Lord. Then would request for black candles. You give me black candles, then you should have a black wood, because this is now the Luciferian Ligaria that you need to have. Then I'll take this pastor to the grave. Make the pastor lie on the tomb, on top of the tomb. Then what am I doing there? I'm summoning the spirit of the dead to come and enter in the body of the pastor. I'm now initiating the pastor. I am now initiating this pastor. This is necromancy now. So now as I will be summoning that spirit, because I'm already in contact with the deity that I want, I'm going to call upon this spirit. Then the spirit is going to command the spirit of the dead. Then it is going to come into this pastor. So normally what would happen is this. If she is female, she will look for a female, a grave where they buried a female person. If it is a male, you look for a male. Then, you know, but when they bury someone, there's those name tags which they would put. They will tag the grave. Yeah, they will get that name. This is why these pastors, they've got this tendency of changing names. That name, I'll tell him to keep that name as he is calling on this, as he is summoning this spirit of the dead to aid him in church, to control people, to bring more people. He will be calling this name. And he's going to fuse it now systematically into his tongues. Because most of these tongues that you hear in church are demonic tongues. These are actually incantations.
What do you mean?
This is incantation. Most of these tongues that you hear, these prophets, that you hear them say, you are going, when you listen to them, you are going to understand that there's a certain pattern this man is using. Then you know he is calling a spirit which is now going to connect him to that dead spirit. Automatically the pastor will start flowing. He will start flowing, and now the flow will be aided by this spirit. The spirit is now the one that is aiding him to do all these things that he needs to do. So we are done with the grave. That is the first part of initiation in the grave. Now the spirit is in the pastor. Then we are going to go to the river, because we need both portals to be active. So we'll go to the river with the pastor and dress him, then take him into the water. When he goes into the water, there are certain incantations that I'm going to say. I'll utter these incantations, I'll summon the spirits. Then a serpent would appear in the water. A serpent would appear, and when this serpent appears, it will coil our legs in the water. Me, the one who is calling upon that spirit, and those that are with me, I will introduce them to the serpent, to the spirit. They are with me, so that they shouldn't be harmed. We'll cut, just make a small cutting on the finger. Then the blood has to drop into the water. Then we'll use the seashells, those seashells, the cowries. Put blood in them. Some of the cowries need to remain in the water. Some of the cowries or the stones need to be taken to wherever his church is based. So that now he is taking these spirits which are going to be heading him in healing. This is where now the issue of these guys with water is coming in. Where now this water, they don't need your water, but they want you to buy their water. The water which they've prepared themselves.
Oh, the ones that sell water.
Yeah.
During the ministry. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
But it is not ordinary water. It is something that has been prayed for. They've summoned demons to it. It is fully packed with demons, then they're going to go with it. So now, at this time, this is the first level of initiation. We are done with the grave, then we are done with the river. So the pastor will be allowed to get some water from there. From the grave, he got a bit of soil. The soil is for crowd pulling. Normally, the concept is this. When someone dies, even if you didn't know them, but so long they are in your community, you are going to attend the funeral. That's the concept. So like in African setup, funerals are respected a lot. So that now will be aiding them to have a lot of members in church. They will have now these members. So the pastor now is initiated. At this time, I had a lot of pastors.
How many pastors did you have?
There are a lot, more than 50. Because I had pastors even from Nigeria, the ones that have taught Luciferianism, have taught it a lot. Because in Africa, I was the first one who had it.
Well, I want to ask this before you went too far. Did all of these pastors know what they were getting into? Because I could imagine There are some people that might have been scared to do all the things that you asked them to do, but all of them were ready for this.
Most of the time, people that frequent these guys, they know what they want. Some will even tell you that they don't want prayer. They will tell you they don't need prayer, they don't need anything. All they need is just work out whatever you can do, something that is going to help them.